Hello children, good afternoon. What a lovely day it's been today. Lovely and sunny. So here is Lamb Chop. Hello my gorgeous. There. And here is Rabbit. Hello. And you can sit there. And who shall we have today? Let's have Dolly. Rosie from Rose. Although we're not having a My Little Sister story, we are going to have a new story that we've not had before. Ooh, can't see Rabbit. Oh, Rabbit. There. I can see Rabbit now. And me. Okay. So this book is called Bruno's Band. We didn't read that very often, if at all. So it looks very interesting. So, are you sitting comfortably? Then I will begin. Bruno was a restaurant cat. Oh, what a lovely restaurant. I think it was an Italian restaurant. We all like Italian food. Pasta, pizza. Yummy. Bruno was a restaurant cat. Carlo, the cook, and his wife Maria loved Bruno. They made sure that he never went hungry. The restaurant was a happy place, and Bruno was a happy cat. The customers all loved him too. It was not only the delicious food that they came for, they came to see Bruno. He was a special cat. When the moon rose and the stars blinked in the evening sky, Bruno would take his fiddle and play soft and beautiful music under the old cork tree. This was his home. Bruno knew that there was no better life than this. And there he is, playing his fiddle. But Carlo and Maria seemed to spend their whole life cooking and washing up. And one day Maria said, "We must really have a holiday." Bruno watched with excitement and muddle as they packed, but he did not understand what was happening. There she is, always washing up and cooking. And there they are, packing up to go on holiday. We all like to go on holiday, don't we? We've had some lovely holidays together. And it would be nice to go to the seaside again. Especially in this lovely weather. Bruno left the home he loved. Oh, wait a minute, I've missed a page. On the morning that Carlo and Maria left, Bruno lay fast asleep in the warm grass. He did not even hear them go. New people came to look after the restaurant. No one had told them about Bruno. In the rush and bustle of the last-minute preparations, he had been forgotten. Again and again that day, the strangers chased him from the kitchen. Did they think he was a stray? Bruno was sad and bewildered, but what could he do? There he is, sleeping in the grass, and then, look, they pushed him out the door. Poor Bruno. Bruno left the home he loved. He wandered through the town and down to the harbour. Here the world seemed a strange and lonely place. Bruno felt he belonged nowhere. "You're welcome aboard," said the captain of a small steamer. "I could do with some company." There's the harbour. And there's the nice captain saying, "Come on my ship." But once they were out at sea, Bruno knew he could never make a good ship's cat. The waves were too big and the salt spray was too cold. The captain's parrot became Bruno's friend. Sometimes when the wind whistled in the rigging and the sea was rough, they would play a shanty or a jig together. A shanty is a sea song. Then the voyage seemed not so long and Bruno felt less homesick. But the two friends secretly agreed that as soon as possible they would search for a better way of life. There he is, playing his fiddle, singing sea shanties with the parrot. Right. At the next port in the middle of the night, Bruno and the parrot slipped quietly ashore. The city was huge and unfriendly. They walked all day, and just as they had given up hope of finding any place to rest, they were joined by a dog. I see you are musicians like me, said the dog. I play the pipes. Follow me and you will come to no harm. There is the dog in the city. That night, around a warm fire, the animals made music. If we're going to stick together, said the dog, then we must think of a way to earn food and shelter. A dog can find work in the country, said the parrot. The country is the place to go. There must be a better place than this, agreed Bruno. He was hungry. The shadows and night noises made him shiver. Early next morning, they made their way to the station. They were not completely alone on the platform. May I come with you? Asked the station cat. I see you are a band of musicians. I can play the guitar. Of course, said Bruno, and he and his friends made the station cat welcome. There they are, all together, waiting for a train, I guess. What a nice station. Together they wandered the sidings until the station cat found them an empty wagon. In no time at all, with a jolt and rusty squeaks, their journey had begun. There they are, going down the tracks together. The air in the country smelled sweet. The fields of summer wheat curled and whispered like the sea. And there they were in their wagon, and there's sheep and milk churns and all sorts going to different places. When the train stopped at a crossing, the animals climbed from the wagon and made their way to the nearest farm. Here the dog found work, but he was not very good at his job. Every day he grew more and more miserable at being so useless. Oh dear, he's trying to be a sheepdog, but he's not doing very well. The sheep are all running away. He shared with his friends the little food that he had. 2 of the farm geese joined Bruno's band. At night, when the autumn winds moaned outside the barn, they all played music together. Look at that, all sitting there playing music. They had a lot of fun. But it's no good, said the parrot one cold evening. We've all had enough. We'll have to go and earn our keep somewhere else. Bruno agreed. There must be a better way than this. So they gathered their instruments together and crept away from the frozen farm, because by then it was snowing and cold. Through the winter, Bruno and his band travelled from town to town. They worked hard, but found no place they could call home. They played anywhere, in market squares and parks, on pavements and in front of shops. People stopped to listen. Into the guitar case they threw nuts, biscuits, chocolate and fruit. It was their way of saying thank you to the animals for their music. This is going well, Bruno whispered to his band, but he still felt that somewhere, somehow, there was a better life. Here they are playing, and the children throwing nuts into their guitar case, just like they do in town. Time passed, and then one spring afternoon something tugged at Bruno's heart. I think I know this place, he said to his companions. Yes, the old smells and sounds were really there. It is my town, he said. He looked down on the town. It looks like an Italian town by the sea. They ran together down the hill, and suddenly there was the restaurant. But everything seemed strangely neglected and sad. There were no customers, no cooking smells, no bustle and no fuss. Carlo could not believe it when he saw Bruno. There is Carlo sitting there. He opened his arms wide and hugged Bruno and each of his 5 friends. Then he told them how all his customers had given up coming when they realised Bruno was gone forever. He and Maria had come back from holiday to find their business ruined by the cook who did not like cats. That afternoon, Carlo and Maria lit the stove and cleaned the tables. They scrubbed the shutters and put new coloured bulbs above the canopy. Posters went up all over town. Bruno is back. The notices said, Bruno and his band will play tonight. There they all are, getting ready. Later that evening, Bruno and his band began to play. The music floated away over the town, and people came out of their houses to listen. Bruno is back, they said. They said to each other, and they set off to Carlo and Maria's restaurant once more. Bruno and his band played and played. There is no better life than this, said Bruno. We don't need to travel any further. This is home. And there they all are. Oh, that was a very nice story, wasn't it? Yes. I have to try some other musical instruments to make a band. But right now, we're going to say goodbye. Goodbye, Rosy Primrose. Goodbye, Lamb Chop. Bye. Goodbye, Rabbit. Bye. And I will play you out with a little ditty. Goodbye, children.